Late afternoon, that is. I was going to say good afternoon, but good late afternoon, that is. It is 4:43, the 18th of September on a Thursday. I'm Bobby Trosset. This episode is brought to you by Preston Automotive Group and more on a couple other of my sponsors as we work our way through the show. Profitex, MyBookie, a number of others. Obviously, sponsorships and these brand partners make this channel go as they do on the Vault. And we've been really, really appreciative of all of their support. As another season gets underway, it is week 3 of this NFL season. Of course, the Ravens will host the Detroit Lions in a rematch of what was an utter beatdown in October of 2023. We'll revisit that in just a bit through Dan Campbell's words, the head coach of the Detroit Lions. On your way in, if you could like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, consider becoming a channel member or gift-giving membership. And I do want to say, I know a lot of you have been hitting us up since earlier today, when we did our whole ticket giveaway through Eric Hill, who's a super generous Voltron. He just took his generosity to another level because Sean Carter was the initial winner, right? But then we had to redraw so that somebody was actually live could win it and was with us at that moment watching concurrently. And that ended up being Jackie. I don't know what Jackie's last name is, but Jackie was our winner today. Well, what do you know? Eric Hill emails us and is like, hey, I'm getting 2 more tickets for Sean Carter and a friend of Sean's. I thought to myself, what an unbelievable community we have within this space. And I just wanted to shout out Eric Hill, as we will undoubtedly tomorrow do. We will absolutely be doing that at the start of tomorrow's Vault show. But I'll start there. And now with that, let's get into the program because there are multiple pieces of good news. And now it's pretty much confirmed, all but confirmed, let's call it, now that the Ravens injury report has been released. So we'll have that in just a second here for you. But first, here's what the practice reports were. And literally just a minute or two ago, the Wednesday, which is today's Thursday, right? But in the NFL calendar, it's technically Wednesday since they don't play until Monday. So that means today's the first injury report. You'll get a second on Friday, a third on Saturday. They'll have media sessions all 3 days. And so it's just essentially a day behind, knowing that the Ravens and Lions will square off on Monday night. So, as Jameson noted here, Isaiah Likely did take the field for his second practice since the foot fracture and ultimately the procedure that followed that. Starters that were not practicing today: Nate Wiggins, Kyle Van Noy, Nnamdi Madubuike, Pat Ricard. Really, 3 of the 4 wouldn't be a surprise, right? More on Wiggins in just a second. And then as for Rasheen Ali, the primary kickoff return specialist, RB3, remember Keaton Mitchell has been inactive to start out this year, the first 2 weeks. Rasheen is dealing with a concussion. He was at practice, but as many reporters noted, including Jameson, he was wearing a red non-contact jersey. Perhaps he is still in some level of protocol, or they're just taking precautions. We'll see. If he can't go, expect Keaton Mitchell to be active for the first time this regular season. And obviously he's coming up on 2 years being removed from that serious ACL. Here is your injury report as shared just a short while ago by the Ravens. Rasheen Ali with a concussion was limited. No surprise. Marlon Humphrey, nice surprise maybe, being that he was banged up on Sunday against the Browns with a groin. He was a full participant, so great news there for 44. John Jenkins, not injury related, nose tackle, veteran, limited. He'll be all right by all accounts. Isaiah Likely is limited with a foot, as we shared earlier today on the Vault. And just in case you weren't around, here's what he himself had to say on the Purple Playbook last night on WJZ.
One of our players, Sanus, caught a ball, landed on my ankle a little wrong. Sanus trying to make a great play on the ball, ended up stepping my foot always by accident. Grabbed my foot, felt like I couldn't put pressure on it. Went inside, got an MRI, seen that I had to crack my 5th metatarsal. Got surgery, got the timestamp. Been a little too patient. Obviously, talking to Coach Harves, trying to get back, but obviously, knowing the end game is to make sure I'm good, down the road. So, taking it week by week, And right now, just, itching to get back out there. Man, I mean, I feel like people don't really understand, like, the joy people really get from playing football until it's taken away from you. And that's been really probably the hardest part. Playing this game since I've been 4 years old has really just been, not really. I mean, there's always when you run into it, the soreness or being tired or being a little hurt. But like when you're injured and physically not able to do something, that's when it's like hurting. Because you see your teammates out there, you see the fun, the brotherhood that you formed, and you're not out there to be able to have fun. So.
And, I've seen you out there working, trying to get back into game shape. So I got to ask you, because everyone wants to know, just do you have an idea of when we could see you back out there?
Very soon.
Okay.
That's a good enough answer.
My boy's a vet now. That's a certified. He's a vet now. You're not getting my guy. He's not a rookie.
We were going to get a little bit, but
You might have had a different answer last season. You're like, I've been on the show 2 seasons now. Come on, guys.
That's funny.
All right, there you have it. Again, that's courtesy of WJZ, the Purple Playbook, Jimmy's Famous Seafood. I believe that's a Wednesday night show that Isaiah likely will be doing periodically throughout the next few months. So it's a pretty good indication that he's going to try and give this thing a go. He was practicing off to the side field at the end of last week. He's now limited. That's the designation with the foot. I suspect that there will be somewhat of a leash on him coming up on Monday night in what I think would be a snap count limit. But who knows? I mean, he's just over a month removed from the procedure. He talked about the one-on-one rep in camp with Sanusi Kane at the time. Sanusi, of course, accidentally stepped on his foot. And there you have it. It's been a month-plus setback, including the first couple weeks of the season. But I'm here to tell you that if Isaiah likely can go, even if it is a third of the snaps, I mean, that's what Jair Alexander got on opening night, perhaps a third too much based on what he put on film. But even if it is a limited amount of playing time, this allows Todd Monken and company to go back to their 12 personnel arsenal, where they have so much success, where Lamar has so much of a comfort level within that alignment. Both tight ends. It's going to have a trickle-down effect, a ripple effect, if you will, I think, on the progress and overall production of Mark Andrews. I think it'll have a ripple effect on the run game. Of course, it'll have a ripple effect in the way they attack the middle of the field, something that Detroit tends to do with their playmakers, and Jared Goff, being that he's a pocket passer and your prototypical type of quarterback that absolutely can dice you up if it's a big if. We'll see if the Ravens defensive front can do something about that if he has time. Make no mistake about it, Jared Goff is surgical in the pocket, and he will pick you apart. Anyway, that was a tangent. I'm talking about the offensive side of the ball right now for the Ravens, and we all know that if 80's out there, they're going to be able to test Detroit's defense vertically, just like they did in the second half. They made adjustments at halftime last week. Denzel Ward exits the game at CB1. They start attacking Mitchell, his replacement. Zay Flowers continues to be that vertical threat. DeAndre Hopkins, in a small sample size, shows that he has that capability still in his game to be that contested catch guy, to be that separator, to be that surefire pair of hands for Lamar. And so it's sure looking like the second piece of great news here, on top of Marlon being a full participant, is the fact that Isaiah likely is trending towards making his 2025-26 season debut. Nabdi Matabike popped up with a neck. He is a DNP as far as Thursday goes. Notable that he missed Wednesday, the first practice day of the week, last week leading into Cleveland. So just something to watch as the week continues to unfold in terms of attendance. Pat Ricard, this is where there continues to be question marks. And as Jeff Zaribek noted on the Collective on Tuesday night, shameless plug, Cole Jackson, Jeff Zaribek, and myself will broadcast Ravens Collective episodes at 8 o'clock Eastern Tuesday nights for the foreseeable future. Hope you'll join us. But it sure seems like one's been led to believe that Pat Ricard has suffered some sort of setback with his calf. It started as a soft tissue. He then popped up on an injury report with a calf, has not practiced since mid-August. He's a DNP to start off this week, leading into week 3. This offense is not the same without him. The run game is not the same without him. Pass protection is not the same without number 42. They need him back as soon as possible. Kyle Van Noy with a hamstring, not a surprise. He's going to miss multiple weeks if Jeremy Fowler's report is true from ESPN. He was a DNP to start off the week. Nate Wiggins with the groin. He was a DNP today, but John Harbaugh did share optimism that he might have a chance to return tomorrow. He was limping, as Jameson notes here in Sunday's game, after a celebration of the 61-yard interception return. Jameson noted after the long run back, a teammate jumped on Wiggins' back and accidentally took him to the ground. Wiggins did not appear to be full strength the rest of the game. If that's indeed the case, oh God, first of all, who was it? Does anybody know off the top of their head, without the tape in front of me, who jumped on Nate Wiggins' back in celebration? Let me know. The Ravens worked out offensive lineman Darian Dalcourt today, according to a team's transaction sheet. Luke Jones on top of this report. He was with the team during the preseason, you might remember. Spent last year on the practice squad. Dalcourt was released from Washington's practice squad with an injury settlement earlier this week. So just so we're being thorough on a few moves that have been made, Sam Mustipher is the veteran offensive lineman, Owings Mills native, by the way, that was just signed to the practice squad after he was worked out yesterday. Nick Samac, of course, the day 3 pick, 7th rounder out of Michigan State, left for Carolina, meaning the Panthers claimed Samac from the Ravens practice squad. And Tilly decides to, yet again, interrupt a live stream. It is so loud. I hope it doesn't sound as loud in your ears as it did from my ear hole just now. She's ferocious, seemingly. She comes across as if she's ferocious. She's anything but. Matter of fact, whoever's outside right now, which is probably just my sweet and polite and nice neighbor, if she were to walk in the front door, Tilly would greet her essentially and just get on all fours. Tilto, come on, we're mid-live stream, baby. It's the new studio, man. I got to have to figure that out, figure out the window situation. But anyway, long story short is John Harbaugh expressed optimism that Nate Wiggins could be good to go coming up for practice tomorrow, and that rounds out Baltimore's injury report for, again, week 1, subject to change. I should say day 1, week 3, but day 1 of 3 days of upcoming injury reports. So, again, subject to change. That's what's going on right now, and let's take a close look at what the Detroit Lions are dealing with in their injury report category. Jack Campbell's a linebacker, and of course she's going to pick the squeakiest toy that I was just a care package came in yesterday from a friend back in upstate New York, and she sent over, which was super nice of her, but she sent like a ton of treats and toys, all of which have the squeaky toy in it, as you can tell. Jack Campbell, he's DNP with an ankle. Marcus Davenport, this one's one to watch, DNP with a chest. Taylor Decker, tackle, DNP with a shoulder. Kirby Joseph, talented safety. He's limited with a knee. Trevor Nowatzki, is that how you pronounce it? He's full participant with an elbow. Nothing crazy here. But one to watch is Davenport. I think Kirby Joseph's doing okay, but you're going to want to watch Marcus Davenport based on some press conferences that I've listened to. So anyway, there you have it. And before I get any further, why don't I quickly tell you about what's going on at Preston Automotive Group, as now over my right shoulder, Tilly decides to start eating her kibble for the first time today since she's a grazer. So Tilly essentially is acting up in almighty fashion right now, and she saved it for the 4 o'clock hour rather than the Vault. I guess I could probably thank her for that, being that the Vault's audience today was rabid. Anyway, at Preston Automotive Group, Bobby Baltimore subscribers, and that you are out there. So just let them know at any Preston-based dealership, let them know you will be eligible for 2 exclusive offers. $500 towards a newer pre-owned vehicle, or when you buy 4 tires, you'll get 50% off your alignment. You guys know that I've been rocking the Bobby Baltimore Bronco in terms of my wheels, my transportation for years now, over 2 years, or coming up on 2 years, matter of fact. I think at the end of this month. They got over 2,000 vehicles to choose from. Home delivery is available. And finding your next ride with Preston has never been easier. When you shop with them, you're joining a trusted team serving Baltimore and beyond. Cars cost less with Preston. You can get started today by visiting PrestonMotor.com. That's linked in the show notes below. There's also a specific link right now in the live chat. You can also scan the QR code that you see in the upper right-hand corner. And when you do, it brings you to my specific landing page. There I am in my old studio in Harbor East. What do we think of the vest? Do we like the vest? Do we like the short sleeve under the vest? I don't think I'm going to get much use of that in Florida, seeing as how I'm still sweating my ass off here. You can contact Preston easily by filling out this form right here. All of my social direct links are here. And right now, you've got over 3,400 vehicles to shop from in their inventory. You can search by make, model, or keyword. And categories like prices, vehicle condition, year, make. Man, they let me drive around an F-150 as a loaner for the day. When I was driving down here and I needed to get the Bronco surfaced, it was incredible. Look at all the different locations that you can stop by an area dealership. You do not have to be in the Baltimore area. And the beauty of it is, look at all these dealerships right here, especially those of you that are on the Eastern Shore, maybe Delaware, you name it, Aberdeen. The beauty of it, you don't need to be in the Baltimore area to work with Preston. Home delivery is available. They would ship. You can get down even into the nittier grittier. Body style. Look at this. But just for shits and giggles, let's go ahead and throw this in. F-150. Because I got to tell you, as soon as they put me behind that truck wheel, I was feeling like absolutely invincible. Look at this friggin' thing. 2015 Ford F-150. Absolute unit. Couldn't you see me barreling through the streets of Fells or barreling through the streets of St. Pete with a transplant locally in the area in the passenger seat, the future Mrs. Trosset? I could see it. I could absolutely see it. Going on a walk and talk tonight, by the way. She was essentially interrogating me prior to tonight, and I promised, and I will stand by that promise, that I would not be sharing anything related to the date or the person that I'm going on said date with on the air. I think she did her homework on me and may very well have realized that sometimes I get into oversharing mode. So that is an interesting one. And maybe I can share it at a later date if it goes south or maybe if it goes north. But we'll see. For now, I'm going to be tight-lipped on it. Walk and talk coming up 6:30 tonight. As for Nate Wiggins, though, that week 2 performance, yes, he's dealing with a setback right now related to his groin from that celebration, 60-plus yards. Boy, he looked like a gazelle at times during that return. It was a lot of fun to watch. But it was a hell of a game. 9 targets, 15 receiving yards allowed, 1 forced incompletion, 1 pick, of course, of Joe Flacco, and a 12.0 passer rating allowed. Year 2 for number 2. He's looking the part out there. Man, just the speed, the instincts, the playmaking ability. Love him opposite Cheeto Awuzie, and it'll continue to give Jair Alexander some time to try and get himself right. Being, 6 months removed-ish, 6+ months removed from the torn PCL that he sustained in what became the end of his time as a Green Bay Packer. Well, let me tell you, this game's going to be something else if it lives up to the expectations. Because not only do you have Lamar's history on Monday night, but you've got 2 high-flying offenses. 2 of the 3 highest-scoring offenses through 2 early weeks across the entire National Football League. He is 24-2, Lamar is, in his career against NFC teams. Now, one of them is the Daniel Jones-led New York Giants, right? One of these losses is the Daniel Jones New York-led, or you know what I mean, the Daniel-led New York Giants. or God damn it. The Daniel Jones-led New York Giants. No Celsius today, as you can see. Why am I having a blank? What was the other loss on here? The other NFC loss. Can somebody help me out with this? I think it was last year, right? It was the Daniel Jones, New York-led. God, I keep doing that. The Daniel Jones-led New York Giants. At some point here, I'm going to have to probably going to have to cut back on the hours a day. Got up at 5:30. A little mush this time of day. Thank you for the live chat. Thanks to everybody for chiming in. Of course, it was the December 1st Eagles game. Justin Tucker almost, dare I say, single-handedly lost that game for the Ravens. They got outmanned in the trenches that day. But anyway, 24-2 against NFC opponents. They've been utterly, utterly dominant, as has Lamar. And on Monday Night Football throughout his career, 7-2 with 22 touchdowns. Clean slate of picks. No picks. This is ridiculous. Video game-like numbers. And Dan Campbell, Lions head coach, knows that he's going to have to get his shit together to not repeat what happened 2 years ago, October of 2023.
There's no easy task here. Those two players, and look, and let's not forget, they got skill now on the perimeter. They got some receivers. They got a tight end. This old line will come off the ball. But it does start with Lamar and that runner, man. And he's a load. What they do a lot of shifts. They do motions. There's a lot of, read run out of it, or the illusion. There's play pass. There's boots. So this is, look, our defense has got their hands full. And I think more than anything, the two things, what you see a lot of is even the teams that play them pretty well, man, they do well. 3 yard. All of a sudden, there goes a 60-yarder. And so this team, if you don't stay disciplined for 60 minutes, you make one false move at some point in the game, it'll cost you, because, when Henry gets going downhill and there's an open gap and you don't stop him before he hits the line of scrimmage or make him move his feet, he's dangerous. Man, we got to be disciplined, and we have to have population of the football. We're going to have all 11 scream into the football no matter where it is. I mean, that's what you have to do to contain this offense, and we got to find a way to get a takeaway.
That's courtesy of 97 won the ticket. Okay, Dan Campbell, old enough to remember October of 2023. I'll revisit that in just a second, when the Ravens boat raced Detroit in Baltimore, 38-6. Was that final score. Meanwhile, Lamar's the first quarterback ever to have 45-plus touchdown passes and 3 or fewer interceptions over any span of 17 regular season games. The next closest was Tom Brady, who had 49 touchdowns with 5 interceptions over 17 games between 2006 and 2007. I feel like we could spend all night long, all late afternoon, into the early evening, into the late hours, talking about the historic run that Lamar Jackson is on. What about passer rating? As we know, after the win against Cleveland, 4 touchdown passes, a clean game in terms of turnovers, he passed Aaron Rodgers as the NFL's all-time leader in passer rating with a 102.65 overall grade. Aaron Rodgers, it's a fraction of a point, 102.60. Okay. You're talking about an all-time great passer. Pretty sure Tom Brady recently referred to him as the greatest thrower of the football of all time. And Lamar Jackson, from a passer rating standpoint, in terms of his career passer rating, just eclipsed the great Aaron Rodgers. Lamar's reaction, priceless.
I'm just trying to win. I don't pay attention to it. Only way I find out if somebody posted or something, I'm tagged in it and I mess around and see it. But other than that, I'm not looking for it. I'm trying to win games. So that's all that matters to me, really.
Run that thing back. This dude's locked the hell in. You think he gives a shit about that?
I'm just trying to win. I don't pay attention to it. Only way I find out if somebody posted or something, I'm tagged in it and I mess around and see it. But other than that, I'm not looking for it. I'm trying to win games. So that's all that matters to me, really.
These guys don't have time for any kind of messing around during media sessions. It was a very quick and short press conference, both for John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson. The focus has been narrowed, right? The days of going back and forth and having a little bit of fun and this, that, and the other are long over. They are more than ever business-like, and it's showing. And we'll see what kind of results they get as a result of that approach to not only their day-to-day, but when they're in front of the cameras and in front of the microphones. I keep mentioning this 38-6 blowout October of 2023 when the Ravens just straight up absolutely pounced on the Detroit Lions that day. Lamar threw for 357 yards. He was 21 of 27, 3 touchdowns, no picks. He had a quarterback rating that day of 155.8. On the ground, 9 for 36 and a touchdown. The guy accounted for 4 touchdowns. It was one of the all-time Lamar performances, and they led 28-0 at the half. Okay, Detroit didn't put up their points until the fourth quarter, and that's where just 6 points came from. I think they tried to go for 2 at one point and were denied. Okay, the Ravens averaged per play 9.1 yards per play on that day. They outgained Detroit 503 to 337 in terms of overall yardage. They were 50% on third down. Okay. It was an unbelievably dominant performance. And a lot of these folks that are on the Detroit Lions right now, whether it be staff and or players, were a part of that. They remember it. Dan Campbell certainly remembers it.
Look, we're better on the perimeter. You know, that's one. But I think also having faced that, you know, it's one thing to say or see it on tape, but when you actually face it, which we have a significant amount of guys that are still here that actually lived through that, then you really know the task at hand. You know the environment, you know what they're made of. They're well coached. I got a lot of respect for Coach Harbaugh. And they're just, every year, man, they're a tough team. They're competitive, they're rugged, and they're disciplined. So this should be a good challenge, and I'm looking forward to it. Our guys are going to be looking forward to it.
Oh, boy. Yeah, he remembers it. How can you forget it? I mean, it was a true display of dominance. I was going to say, unlike the Ravens are used to. They're used to handing out those kind of performances. And a lot of them have come again in prime time. They've got 5 consecutive Monday Night Football victories. That's the longest active streak in a tie with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And since Harbaugh got to Baltimore in 2008, 22-3. 22-3 in primetime home games. Lamar is 10-1 in such games. And he's tallied up 30 total touchdowns, 24 through the air and 6 on the ground. Guys, I will be in Baltimore this upcoming weekend. Certainly looking forward to a return where I spent 10 plus years and where my brother currently lives. Ton of friends, some extended family, and my shit. All my belongings are in Canton storage. Shout out Morningstar Storage in the Canton area, right near Canton Crossing. That's where my couch, my studio, a lot of my studio stuff that I didn't bring on the road, all of that is there. I've been partnering with them for the last several months, and it's all climate controlled, super spacious, easy to get in and out of, like with this simple digit code, punch code. So yeah, if you guys need any storage space, Morningstar would be my recommendation in the Baltimore area. And I want to say thanks to them for the continued support of not only taking good care of my belongings, but also supporting the channel. So thanks to them, and thanks to all of you guys. And if you're superstitious, look away, please, because you ain't going to want to see this. But I'm showing it to you anyway. NFL Network predictions for Monday night. What are there, 10 here? 9 of the 10 have the Ravens winning. And only 1 of the 10 has it going Detroit's way. I don't know some of the names on this list, on this panel, to be honest with you. I know Bucky Brooks. I know Colleen Wolfe. I know Maurice Jones-Drew. I know Daniel Jeremiah. I know Adam Rank. But who are the other guys? Do you guys know who the other folks are? Anyway, I really value Daniel Jeremiah's opinion. I could see it being up in that. I do see this being a shootout. Maybe that's the low-hanging fruit, the shootout prediction, if you will, but I could definitely see that being the case. I think the Ravens need to attack Detroit on the ground, establish their ground game early. All right, get push, win the line of scrimmage. That's something that did not happen in the first half. And luckily for them on Sunday against the Browns, it didn't leak into the second half. They made adjustments. They got the ball out of Lamar's hands quick. They started testing Cleveland's defense vertically. Denzel Ward was down. I think you're really going to have a chance to test the interior members of Detroit's defensive line to see if they are willing and able to go play a game of shootout. I don't think that this Detroit defense can hang with the Ravens for 60 minutes. I also think on the other side of the ball, I don't necessarily believe that the Ravens can hang with Detroit for 60 minutes in terms of defensively trying to keep their offense at bay. I'm certainly not convinced of that. Not after what we've seen through the 2 weeks of the season. Obviously, special teams will come at a premium. The short fields that they gave Joe Flacco with some of the landing zone issues that Tyler Loop's been dealing with on kickoff, that's got to go. He's been really solid when it comes to his place kicking. But that nuance to the new dynamic kickoff rule that went into place last year, and I know he's coming out of college. It's not something that's at the collegiate level. That's got to get cleaned up because Jared Goff and company will eat and feast with two things. One, short field opportunities. And two, you protect him and you give him time in the pocket. He's got too many weapons out there. He will attack you. He will pick you apart. And so I haven't come up with my final score prediction. Even if I did, we don't share them until Fridays on the Vault. But I will have the Ravens eclipsing 30-plus points. And I would not be surprised if Detroit's right there with them. Guest lines are open. Manny and What I Say Jr. on deck. I already know Manny wants to take a victory lap and put his name on something special. We'll see if I give him that opportunity to do so, being that I did all the hefty lifting. I did a lot of heavy lifting to get this done, but how could I not give you a little bit of love along the way, too? We'll get to your ass in just a second. Profitex continues to sponsor the program this football season, and they are my go-to for season-long plays and player props. It's America's #1 sports prediction market. It's where you win real money predicting sports in 40-plus states. You'll get better odds than traditional sports books because you're playing against others, not the house. At Profitex, you can request your own odds, play with confidence, and get super fast payouts straight to your bank, card, or even crypto. And right now, if you sign up at Profitex.co and use the promo code BobbyB, which you can see on screen right now, that's BobbyB, BOBBYB, you'll get up to $200 in profit cash on all your plays for the first 30 days. I hope you consider signing up now. You can go to Profitex.co. Start winning real money predicting sports. Terms and conditions do apply. And let's take a quick look at this Detroit-Baltimore game and how it's shaking out here early on Thursday, leading into a Monday night slate. And, of course, you can pick a number of different leagues to get involved in. Of course, Thursday Night Football gets underway tonight at 8:15 in Buffalo. It's Dolphins-Bills in AFC East. I keep wanting to say showdown, but it's really not because Miami blows. Maybe they'll prove me wrong tonight. Good luck to Cleveland. The Packers are coming to their house. That could get ugly quickly. In a QB2 game, if you will, the Bengals will travel to Minnesota. J.J. McCarthy is down. Carson Wentz is in. Joe Burrow is down. Jake Browning is in. And he came in the second quarter last week against Jacksonville. They were down a touchdown. Jaguars were up a touchdown, and they coughed up that game. How, you ask? No idea. Anyway, there's a ton of games. Down my way here in St. Pete, Tampa's going to host the Jets. The great Jake Asman's coming to town. Looking forward to having him in the area, celebrating a little bit. It's his 30th birthday today. You guys might remember Jake from my time in Vegas. He's my Jets content creator friend. Great dude. Happy 30th birthday to him. Let's see if this line's moved at all. It has. It was 6.5 last time I checked. Now it's 5. That's what the Ravens are in terms of favorites. 5-point home favorites over Detroit. The over-under is set at 53. I don't know, man. I would hammer that. That seems a little low for the potent offenses that these two present each other. I think both of these teams have questions defensively that'll have to be answered. You can get down to the nitty-gritty here and look at rushing yards, whether it be first half rushing yards, overall rushing yards. You can get some pass props as well. Lamar's not throwing picks. Knock on wood. Hopefully all of you do. So yeah, there's so much to choose from here, and I appreciate Profitex for the continued support. Profitex.co, and again, if you use code BobbyB, you'll get up to $200 in profit cash on all your plays for the first 30 days. Thanks, guys, for being here. Let's talk a little bit about Daniel Faalele before we get to the guest lines. And they are busy right now. What I Say wants to give me dating advice. Manny wants to take a victory lap. And I think Clint wants to know and pry every little piece of information out of me as I go into a walk and talk tonight. You're not familiar with a walk and talk? Well, you're about to be, but I can't say anything about it. Again, I'm telling you, man, this girl's a trip. If she's my future missus, I'm fucked. Kidding. It's a kid show, Bobby. It's a kid show. Watch your mouth. John Harbaugh on Daniel Faalele before I go totally off the rails prior to this walk and talk.
Faalele, what do I like about Daniel Faalele? I like the fact that he's a big, strong guy, moves his feet well, he bends, he's getting better at using his hands. I think he's been doing a real good job in pass protection for the most part. Run blocking has been good, but he needs to be more consistent in both areas. I think what you're asking me is, I'll just give you the direct answer. I mean, he's had some bad plays that you're talking about probably, that haven't looked great, but he's a good football player, and he's getting better, he's young, and hopefully he'll continue to improve. That's what we're hoping for. I know one thing, we're coaching him up really hard every day, and we expect him to go out there and play, his best football game on Monday night, and that's what he's going to try to do.
Well, not exactly the most convincing answer or ringing endorsement that John Harbaugh has ever given for a player. And let me be clear here. Daniel was not the problem on Sunday against the Browns. I think you could absolutely point the finger to Andrew Voorhees more so than you can Faalele, and we'll get into the grades, the PFF pass blocking and run blocking grades in just a bit. But not exactly. He's clearly on edge. I think these guys hear the noise. They're probably, at this point, tired of talking about it and being asked about it in this setting. I kind of got that sense from Lamar too.
Like Daniel Faalele sometimes gets a lot of grief on social media. I know you've dealt with that kind of thing. What would people maybe not understand about him as a blocker in terms of when you're out there and what he's doing for you?
I mean, he's an NFL guard. Every position in the NFL is hard to play, It's easy to just watch and tell somebody, you should be doing this. It's easy to direct someone, but it's hard to do, So I'll leave it at that.
I'd say both guys, Harbaugh and Lamar, taking stands for their brother, for their teammate. Lamar did that over the summer. I think he does it again here. Here's the pass blocking grades divvied up by Mike Kliss here, reporter in Denver, and this is relaying from PFF. Daniel Faalele, actually one of the highest pass blocking grades among all offensive linemen from week 2, 88.6. And I know you're somewhere out there thinking to yourselves or screaming perhaps through the camera that a lot of this has to do with Lamar and his ability to minimize or evaporate or whatever you want to call it, right? He can mask weaknesses within the offensive line given his God-gifted elusiveness and ability to escape from the pocket and extend plays. We know that. Let's get into more of these numbers here because Gordon McGinnis is on to something here, right? Through 2 games, left guard has been a bigger issue for the Ravens than right guard, and right guard still isn't great. Let's dig into this, and then we'll open up the guest lines, and I'm sure it's going to become a goddamn zoo in here. Take a look. These are Ravens through 2 weeks, overall Raven PFF grades. Daniel Faalele finds himself in the middle of the pack. 58 overall score, 88.6 as a pass blocker, 44.2 as a run blocker. That's tough. And I think that's where his lack of mobility, right? Lack of mauling type of presence, lack of want to. I don't want to call it want to, but that viciousness, you don't tend to see it pop up a lot of times in the ground game. And yes, his mobility issues, they do rear their ugly head there. But look at Andrew Voorhees through 2 weeks. A 32.6 overall PFF grade. 5.3 as a pass blocker, 49 flat as a run blocker. Not great. Not great at all. Ronnie Stanley, 50.8 overall, 39.5 pass blocking. That's going to happen when you're opposite Myles Garrett the way that he was the majority of Sunday afternoon. And he's a 56.2 graded out run blocker. So, yeah, Lamar is able to minimize some of the weaknesses here, mask some of it with his ability to escape the pocket, extend plays, throw on the run, throw dots. But as much as it's easy and trendy to point the finger at Daniel Faalele, I think easily Andrew Voorhees can be in that same category through 2 early weeks of this season. To the guest lines we go, chronological order. What I say, Manny and Clint, in that order. Thank you guys for being with me today. If you could like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Hit that notification bell. Consider becoming a channel member or gift-giving membership. And support the sponsors by clicking on that QR code in the upper right-hand corner if you are in the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle. Preston Automotive Group's got you covered. Let's see if what I say has got me covered. Oh, what you got going on over there? A little stogie?
Nah, Bobby. Not a stogie. Close to it, though. You're
What flavor? No, it's like it's like a pen. What do you got?
Yeah, just a pen. I got a med card, so we're smooth over here. Don't worry about it. Listen, we're not mad. Like I said, me and E, we just trying to watch out for you, Bobby. We don't want you putting stuff out on Front Street like that. Keep it behind the scenes, because she's probably watching. She knows now. So
there's a chance that she could be watching, and that's why I'm sticking to my guns here with the lack of intel on tonight. We're about an hour out from a walk and talk, and she asked me for my last name last night.
Whoa.
It's not uncommon, I would say, when you meet someone on Hinge to ask for that going into a first date. I certainly would recommend my sister to do that, or any lady friend of that, for that, anybody in my life. And so I gave her my last name kind of reluctantly, because there's been some things that are out of my control that have been sent to me over the years, like Reddit threads, like the lunch break hot take crew getting after me about, like, am I a fraud? Am I MAGA Bobby? Am I this? Am I that? Which to me, like, that stuff lives on in the internet when you upload a video like that.
Yep.
And so I'm wondering, once she did Google me, clearly she Googled me, because the conversation went south and it went into almost like an interrogative type of conversation. But we're still doing this walk and talk, followed by a little bodega sandwich type spot here in downtown St. Pete. So that's what's coming up tonight.
Hey, listen, it's gonna be a good time, but hey, like we said, Bobby, just keep it clean, keep it smooth. Be safe out there, if you know what I'm saying, if it gets like that.
You know it. I appreciate that. What kind of Ravens coverage chatter you got going on tonight?
Well, not much, man. I'm just crazy. I'm out here chilling, man. I just think
You really just came to critique my love life, didn't you?
I'm not gonna lie, it was gonna be 70-30, man. It was gonna be 70-30. But man, I just think that, number one, Keaton, I don't know what the deal is. Y'all probably talked about it before I got in here, but I don't know. I just think that we need to keep things tight on offense, and on defense, we don't need to be crazy. We just need to be middle of the pack, man. Honestly,
Well,
with the way our offense is, middle of the pack.
I'll give you some thoughts right now before you jump on Keaton, just in case folks are popping on as we speak. When it comes to him, first of all, Todd Monken kind of hinted at this back in the summer when he said that touches would be tight, essentially paraphrasing, knowing that it's a really deep backfield. And apparently, from an evaluation standpoint, they feel like they have more in Rasheen Ali, whether it be as a primary kickoff returner or other special teams work, or I should say, what they showed him, meaning what he showed them during the preseason months, as far as I just thought some of his cutting ability, his downhill running, his vision. I thought he showed something in the preseason. Now, with all that said, who's the bigger home run hitter? It's Keaton Mitchell. He's 2 years removed come December from that serious ACL. He told us back in April on the draft coverage that we were doing that it was going to be a movie, so he clearly thought he was going to be playing.
Yeah.
Or maybe that was just him trying to self-motivate. I don't know. But this is clearly a player that's on the outside looking in right now when it comes to the 3 running backs that are in front of him. But did the door just open? You see here on the screen that Rasheen Ali was wearing a red non-contact jersey during practice today, meaning he is still in some level. I don't know what the actual lingo is, but he is in some level of concussion protocol after being bounced literally the first play in that Cleveland game. And so my hope is that we continue to get to see what is the lightning to Derek's thunder. But for right now, I think there's other evaluations and other decisions that are a part of this decision-making process that have a lot to do with Rasheen Ali's ability as a teamer.
Yeah, that was my thing. The only thing I've been never thinking of is special teams is what's putting Rasheen over Keaton at this point. Because, like you said, home run hitter from the running back spot. I mean, we have Derek, but Keaton is just like you said, thunder and lightning. It's different home run threat. It's different. It's something different you have to worry about. But then we'll see. Hopefully things open up. I think unfortunately some injuries will do that. Obviously, with Kyle Van Noy being out, Mr. Green is going to have to step up, make some plays, do his thing. So hopefully the Young Bucks get it done. And yeah, it's going to be a movie on Monday, man. It's going to be a movie.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate the call on multiple levels. Thank you.
Of course, my G. Have a good one.
Later, man. You too. I'll always love those types of calls right there when it's, actually, I don't have any Ravens content for you at all to talk about. That cracks me up. Guys, this episode's brought to you by my friends at Preston Automotive Group, Profitex, and MyBookie as well, supporting sponsors of the show. Thank you guys for all your support. Over 500 concurrently across both networks right now, meaning both platforms, YouTube and Twitter. If you're in the YouTube space, would appreciate it if you could like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, consider becoming a channel member, gift giving membership, and the guest lines continue. And I know a guy that wants to take a couple victory laps around me, even though I cannot wait to rebuttal. I will let him have the first punch, though, and here's why he's calling. A short while ago, earlier today, we heard back from ESPN PR, and the great Mina Kimes will be joining the vault coming up on Monday the 22nd, leading into Ravens-Lions. I think the world of her, have so much respect for her football acumen, her delivery, her career, how well-versed she is, how diversified her portfolio is. And she's going to be joining the vault for the first time coming up on Monday. A guy that has quite literally for 50-plus days, I believe I have that tallied up correctly, tweeting at her, mentioning her for 50-plus days on behalf of the vault, unprompted, I might add, is in the waiting room right now. It's Mr. Mexico City who has gone above and beyond. I think he wants to invoice me. Fuck that if that's the case. Excuse my French. Let's bring in Manny down in Mexico City. Thank you for your work. Go ahead and take your lap. All right, I'm going to trip your ass on the way back. Talk to us. Please take your victory lap, all right?
It worked. It worked.
I'm going to say this. It certainly didn't hurt. I know that.
Hey.
So thank you for your efforts.
55 days. 55 days, almost 2 months insisting.
Well, you're the man. You're absolutely correct. It took a level of consistency, grit, honor by you. And thank you. Thank you for that. It's coming up on Monday at 1:40 p.m. because I know everybody wants us to do a 2.5-hour show as it is. So we will literally give you a 2-hour show on Monday leading into Monday Night Football.
It's 1 p.m. Eastern, right?
1:40 p.m. Eastern. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, just to have cleared that time frame on job so I can just be there present and just say, hey, I did it.
Yes,
well, obviously, like you said, the heavy lifting because you have to negotiate times and everything because of the schedule. But still, yes, I'm taking part of the credit because I was the one we got to get her. We got to get her. Hey, she knows a lot. She's for real, is like she doesn't sugarcoat anything. If she sees that, hey, Lamar's slacking, she's gonna write out colors. Lamar's slacking. Harbaugh's slacking. Faalele slacking. Voorhees, he's not Friday the 13th Voorhees. So
correct. She's going to give it to us straight. And then the best part about it all is that she's literally going from that interview immediately to Monday Night Countdown, which is going to be live on the field at the bank. So there's going to be a lot going on. Mina Kimes joins us live in the vault coming up on Monday. Talk to me, Ravens. What's on your mind on this Thursday leading into MNF?
Well, I'm still worried about that O-line in general because not only of what Voorhees went through this last week, but also, Nick Samek is gone. Sam Mustipher, I don't know how quickly we can get him up to speed. Not just for, I think this game he's going to be null and void. I don't think you can bring him up because of this. One, you sign him, he comes in, what little he can do. I think he's going to be more crucial for Kansas, going up to Kansas City, because we need a spare there in case either Voorhees or Faalele don't respond. And we need, Cleveland cannot guard two spots. So we're going to need him, and we're going to need Mustipher to just cover up if it's not working against Chris Jones.
Well, to your point, maybe people missed this earlier. Sam Mustipher was with them on their practice squad last year, and he's just been brought in after being worked out yesterday. So he's the practice squad replacement for, I guess, technically Samek, who was picked up by Carolina, and he was the former 7th-round pick that they had on the 53 last year. And so, yeah, Mustipher's an option as a call-up for sure. Evan's just reminding me that I should have mentioned this earlier. Jair Alexander looked to have been a full participant today. He's not included on this injury report. So good news for him. I don't know what that means for him moving forward. Will he continue to be a healthy scratch until they feel like, he has his legs underneath him and that, he's good to go in terms of the ramp up that's required? Because clearly we all saw 30% of the snap share on opening night in Buffalo was not the right decision. And they told you that without actually telling you that by scratching him the following week. So.
Yeah, but at least we had Keaton Martin and TJ Tampa. They were responding.
Yeah,
it's like you never felt like we were missing Jair that badly.
Yeah,
that tells you a lot of what kind of players we have. It's just give him a chance.
Yeah,
give him a chance.
And you mentioned don't forget, by the way, while it's on my mind, because I needed a refresher in terms of some of the depth that they'll have right on the roster, offensive line wise. You do have Noteboom. I know he's a tackle, but you've got Noteboom out there. You like you said, you've always got Ben Cleveland waiting in the wings. You've got the former undrafted rookie in Corey Bullock, who had a great camp, obviously, and a great summer. Emory Jones Jr., not an option yet. That remains a mystery. I would not be surprised if he's looked at as a redshirt guy at this point in his process of trying to get back from that labrum. And then outside of that, Carson Vincent, not really expected to play this year. He's a tackle. He's a developmental tackle. And so to your point, I think obviously David Ojabo, it's a big game for him. I know I'm kind of bopping around from different sides of the ball. But I'm just sort of looking at how they might handle their game day operation and whether or not Zaire Mitchell-Payton comes back. Now, you expect him not to have to come up from the practice squad because I think Isaiah Likely is going to be good to go. And so because they're not going to go with a tight end, maybe they do indeed go with a Mustipher, but it'll have been less than a week since they brought him in the building. So I just don't know how likely that is.
Yeah, and we don't know if Likely is going to play this Monday. If he is, he's going to be in the snap count. But yeah, I think we were right before the beginning of the season. I think you, Sarah, and most of us were right. We're not going to see Likely until Kansas. So I would rather have him 100% healthy on Kansas than at 80% on Monday night against Detroit. Just because this offense has given me the confidence to go in bank 40 burger back to back without Patrick Ricard, without Isaiah Likely, and with the Mandrews and Bateman drops. So that tells you that, yes, we got nothing to worry. And if they come back, it's going to be not a 40. It might be a 60 at one point.
I think they're going to give him a shot to return Monday night, and hopefully they just protect him from himself, use somewhat of a pitch count, get him back involved in some 12 personnel, add another security blanket into Lamar Jackson's arsenal with Mark Andrews. It's going to have a ripple effect, you would think, on multiple levels of this offense. I wouldn't expect Zaire Mitchell-Payton to go, meaning to be called up from the practice squad for the third consecutive week if Isaiah goes. But if Isaiah does go, would they go the fullback route and bring up Lucas Scott? I don't know. Would they bring up Brent Urban if Kyle Van Noy can't go? I know they're different positions, but would you ask Brent Urban to be called up as a game day activation? I'm just looking through the practice squad right now to see, would a Malik Ham make sense? You literally just brought him in.
I would bring
Gray was just thrown on the practice squad injured reserve. So, they just brought him in from New Orleans. He was a surprise cut at the end of the summer. So he's not going to be good to go. He's not available right now. So be curious to see how they handle the practice squad on Monday night.
I think here's what I would do, because I saw it back-to-back games, and I think Zach Orr doesn't understand. I would bring Brett Urban just to substitute Kyle and Nambi internally, but I would put Oweh and Mike Green on the field, because I haven't seen them together on the field. It's like Oweh comes out, Mike Green is in, and it's like, no. You don't understand. Oweh one side, Green on the other, and let Nambi and Travis hunt in the middle, because they're worried about Oweh's speed, and they know that the raw talent that Mike Green has on the other side, that would allow Nambi and Travis to just push directly towards the quarterback. And I think Zach Orr, and I told Mike to tell Zach Orr, my defensive coordinator, to tell him Oweh and Green at the same time. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Oweh has not played that much this year through the first couple weeks in terms of what you would suspect from a guy that's in a contract year. And I think Mike's taking his licks here in the early on. They're playing him, and he's just got to kind of, I think, at some point here, cut it loose. I think when you watch the tape a little bit, it's coming across as if he's just overly processing. And I get it. I'm sure it's extremely challenging on the mental side of things, trying to process and also play make simultaneously. It's one of the most difficult things to do as a rookie when you're trying to transition to that NFL speed. So, Manny, appreciate you, brother. I'll catch up with you soon. Thanks for the call, my man. Guest lines are open tonight, and Manny took that victory lap. Yes, he did. I know he enjoyed it too. He's still smiling down there. Clint is on deck. And I'm wondering, though, the more and more I think about this, and of course, it's going to be easier when we get a full injury report, which we won't until Saturday for Monday's game. I'm wondering how they handle this practice squad strategy. Because if Isaiah is indeed good to go, I would think that negates Zaire Mitchell-Payton's component. So would they bring up Lucas Scott? I mean, Pat Ricard's not anywhere close. Certainly seems like that's the case, that he's not close. Brent Urban makes a lot of sense, and not just because Michael Pierce, his old running mate's going to be the legend of the game. So I guess my guess right now on Thursday, before seeing this, the next 48 hours worth of injuries and overall statuses shake out, I would probably go with Brent. I don't feel confident about Lucas Scott, but I feel relatively decent about Brent Urban with no Kyle Van Noy. And that's not to say that he's going to play a big role in the game. Some people in the live chat are thinking that they're still going to go with Zaire Mitchell-Payton as fullback, despite having 3 tight ends. Obviously, they did that all of last year. They've done that all of the last couple of years. 3 tight ends and a fullback have been on the 53-man roster. see. To the guest lines we go. Oklahoma's finest waiting. And before I get to you, Clint, let me get a read in here. In part, this episode is brought to you by my friends at MyBookie. College football is already cooking. Upsets, blowouts, wild covers, you name it. And MyBookie lets you hit it all. I'm down in the St. Pete area. I still can't believe the Florida Gators are struggling mightily the way they are. My cousin lives right around the corner from me, and he's a Gator through and through, and he was there during the heyday of heydays, like, Billy Donovan for hoops and Urban Meyer for football and Tim Tebow and Aaron Hernandez was on that team. People forget about that. Joakim Noah. I mean, they had just Billy Horschel was on the golf team. They had a ridiculous amount of talent. And by the way, have you ever watched the Florida Doc series? What was it called? Swamp something? I feel like I watched that a couple years ago and it was incredible. But anyway, South Florida, USF. That's one of those blowouts, or not blowouts, but upsets, if you will, that I was just stunned by. Gators go down. And I remember Nick Saban was saying, think about it. All the dudes that end up at USF, it's because they didn't ultimately get offers to their dream school. And most Florida boys dream up going to Gainesville, or at least envisioning going to Gainesville, going to the University of Florida. And so for USF to win that game, just insane. I'm trying to immerse myself in the college football scene, as you know, as you can probably tell. But anyway, game line, player props, and more, everything you need before the pros even kick off. So when Sunday rolls around, you're already up. MyBookie's got it all under one roof. You can win big on the NFL Super Contest and Survivor pools. And if you're new to MyBookie, use our code BobbyB. That's BOBBYB. And any bet you choose up to $500 is fully covered. Make your play. And if it doesn't hit, you get it right back when you opt in using our Bet Back bonus token. That's your Bet Back bonus token. MyBookie's where bettors win together, because bragging is good, but cashing in is better. And do me a favor, if you're struggling with gambling, pick up the phone, 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-522-4700. Thank you guys for being here. Like the video on your way in if you haven't already done so. Subscribe, hit that notification bell. Consider becoming a channel member or gift-giving membership, and let's go down, and I should say up or over where I am, to Oklahoma. It's good to see you, my friend Clint. It's been a minute, brother. How you doing?
Good. How are you, Bobby?
I'm
Can
great.
you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. You're a little hollow, but that's all right. What you got on your mind today?
Man, I'm just of the opinion this defense, I started loving the Ravens after 2000. I was 10 years old. That was when I was getting into football. That defense, the organized chaos, that led to me loving the Ravens, loving football, all of that. So to me, this year, to see, we held the Browns to 17, but I think anybody can hold them down. Their offense is not good enough to contend with 30-plus points or more. But, man, they have got to get something on that pressure. Using the rushers, and not having KVN this week is going to suck, but we've got to do something with it. Sorry, my hands are up here in the way of the table.
Yeah, I tell you what, Kyle's getting dragged by some people, and I think undeservingly. It's not deserved. I think it's because I don't know why it is. Is it because he has a podcast? Is it because I don't know why it is, but he played damn well before going down with that hamstring in the first half. And they got a lot of questions right now. That's why I think Brent Urban's going to be one of the call-ups. It wouldn't surprise me if Malik Ham is the other. They got depth issues right now. It's being tested at edge. And we knew there was the potential of this happening, which is why when they allowed Judon to be signed elsewhere, when they allowed Za'Darius to be signed elsewhere, when they didn't go after Jadeveon, who signed elsewhere. And by the way, it's up to $6 million, 3.5 base for Jadeveon Clowney. That could have been done. Now, granted, he didn't put the best tape out there for the Carolina Panthers last year, and I get that. But in 2023, they got a lot out of him. And so in my mind, moving forward, I don't know how much of a setback this is for KVN. Clearly, based on Jeremy Fowler's reporting, it's going to be a multi-week thing. And the Ravens are going to have to get a lot out of a player in a contract year in 99 and in a player that is literally trying to get acclimated at the NFL level in 45. And that's a lot to ask from both of those dudes.
No, I certainly would agree that it's going to be a lot to ask, even in general. I didn't like our looks going into it this season, just with our outside look, and it doesn't have enough speed. Even though we have Oweh, who again ran a 4.32 or 4.33 out of his pro day and whatnot, but we've got to have somebody that can win quickly, not simply run quickly. And we got a lot of dudes that can run quickly right now on the defense. That doesn't equate always to being able to play quickly, as well as allow these guys to, really go in there. And they've got all the necessary coaching, everything else. I agree with T. Sizzle where he said, once you get between those white lines, it's on you. There's no safety net. There's nothing else. You got to be able to take care of you on the field. And that's sometimes beating a left tackle or right tackle, or making sure that you cover your gap and not allow undisciplined play because you're freelancing. And I think there was a lot of that last year, and there's still some of that holding over to this year. That needs to stop real quick.
No doubt, brother. Appreciate the call, man. Thank you. It's good to see you again. I'm sure we'll do it again soon. A couple thoughts on that. To me, this starts and ends in terms of the Ravens strategy. I know they're going to be able to put up points. I feel pretty confident they're going to be able to put up points and comfortably put up points against Detroit. Okay. If they don't stop this rushing attack and they don't have a stout run defense, look out, because that's going to open up the play action pass for Jared Goff. And I got to tell you right now, there have been times so far through 2 weeks. Look at the fourth quarter in Buffalo. I get it. Defense was asked a lot of that day, and it was week 1. And it's Josh Allen with his mobility. But they were not getting any kind of pressure whatsoever in that fourth quarter with a 4-man rush. And so you give Jared Goff time, he's going to kill you on play action. When their run game, go watch the highlights, go watch the tape. When Detroit's run game is going, look out. He's got playmaking ability all around him. Everybody talks about Amon-Ra St. Brown. You forget about Jameson Williams. You forget about Laporta, their tight end. You never forget about Jahmyr Gibbs, their talented running back. But limiting their ground game, starting with Jahmyr Gibbs, to me, has to be priority number 1. It has not been good enough up front. And with no Kyle Van Noy, who sets the tone as that savvy veteran, as he's done the last several years in Baltimore, where's that presence going to come from? Where's that pulse going to come from? This could be a money-making opportunity. This could absolutely be a money-making opportunity on Monday night for Odafe Oweh. And for Mike Green, what a chance to show the NFL world who he is. You know Nnamdi Madubuike is going to continue to bring the pressure up the middle. You know Travis Jones is continuing to be the bad boy that he is. And how about Tavius Robinson? Those 3 right there, they're in great shape with those 3 players, but you need something from your edge presence. It's got to be set. They're going to protect Jared Goff. They got Penei Sewell, stud, all-world player, protecting Jared Goff's right-hand side. They got a lot of talent up and down this Detroit offense. I would not be surprised if the Ravens find themselves in a shootout coming up at the bank, which I am very much looking forward to being in attendance for. As I've mentioned a couple times now, this will be the first time in a non-media setting on U.S. soil that I will be at a Ravens game as a spectator. That's what Monday night's going to represent for me. I've been gifted tickets by a good friend of mine, Jason. So I look forward to go watching this game and through 3 quarters, taking notes, of course, diligently, hopping in the car at the start of the fourth quarter, getting back to the house that I'm crashing at, setting up the post-game show, and going live at midnight. It will be an insane Monday. I'm very much looking forward to it. Let me know what your predictions are. If you want to support the channel, guys, a great way to do so is supporting my brand sponsors. Preston Automotive Group, trusted partner of mine for 2+ years running. If you're in the market for a newer pre-owned vehicle, You go to any Preston dealership that's anywhere in the Baltimore area or outside the Baltimore area, and you let them know that I sent you. They're going to give you $500 off a new or pre-owned. On top of that, if you buy 4 tires, they're going to get you 50% off your alignment. So some great things going on there at Preston. I appreciate them for their continued support. Sarah and I will be back with you tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern inside the vault. Unbelievable amounts of support pouring into the vault lately. Incredible community. We are, we're lucky. We're very, very lucky. And Kwame, I know you're going to be able to get over my lack of fandom. I know you're going to be all right. I can hold your hand throughout the process. Appreciate you guys. Like the video on the way out. Subscribe. Hit that notification bell. I ain't going to have a voice on Monday as it is because all the meatloafs, the $50 spots, and channel membership gifts. Thank you guys. I'll catch up with you soon. Later.